All right, there she is, all loaded up for the adventure. So it's a 12-foot kayak. I got pretty much everything I wanted to bring. I brought. There was no weight restrictions since I'm not carrying anything. It's all going in the boat, so I just brought everything. If I was worried about it getting wet, I put it under the hatch in the back inside of a plastic bag. So that's where all my sleeping gear is and everything. And then just some camping gear up front here that I don't really care as much if it gets a little damp or wet. And we're gonna head out onto the open water. We'll get across that into the mouth of one of these feeder rivers, maneuver up that until we find a nice little overnight camping spot, and then we'll make ourselves a camp. I'm really pumped up about this. This is going to be cool. First time kind of videoing an escapade like this, full feature. And it probably doesn't help that I watched Apocalypse Now last night, but whatever. We're going to have some fun. Here we go. Okay, we're at the mouth of the river right now, and I definitely have a much stronger headwind and a lot more chop. So conditions are challenging right now. With every stroke, I'm probably only traveling like a couple of feet. So I'm really getting a workout. It's a good thing I ate my Wheaties this morning, so I'm all Caitlin'd up. But anyway, I'm gonna put the camera away because this is a little challenging here to get through this. So I'll get back to you later. Found this little guy flipping the river. Yeah, that's nice. Keep going. Okay, what the hell? All right, made it through that section, and the river is kind of narrowed down, so there's less chop, and it's just easier to navigate. Wasn't that bad though. I'll tell you right now, I'm glad I got the kayak. If I would have tried to do that in my canoe, that would have been a serious problem solo. Even with a second person paddling, I feel like that was a harder run than with the kayak. Just very, you know, I had to just moderate amount of resistance, but as long as I kept paddling, kept my bow into the wind, I did good. Anyway, so I'm looking at this section of the river here, which is beautiful, but I don't know if it shows up, but there's like 100 yards of floating grass before you actually get to the shoreline. So, you know, while I'm paddling out here, I'm always admiring the beauty, but at the same time I'm thinking about potential problems that could come up and how I would resolve them. And I was like, what if I went into the drink here? How would I manage that? So I guess you'd have to swim over to that grass line and then kind of like wallow slither through that for like 100 yards. And I hope you didn't get eaten before you got to some solid ground. Because I know, man, as soon as you try to stand up in that mess, you'd be stuck immediately, and that'd be the end of you. So I got a plan developed for that. But anyway, just gorgeous out here. Like I say, glad I got the kayak. It's very manageable, and enjoying my trip so far. Hogs. Big fat hogs. Hogs in the brush. Right there, man. They're right there. I could hear them. Nor rice pasta side, or whatever it is. I think it's rice. It says it calls for 2 cups of water. So I kind of guesstimate it. I think I got 2 cups. I don't know. We'll find out. Get this dilapidated situation going here. Dangerously swinging this thing around. I'm not crazy about the way this came out. Oh, God. There we go. There we go. All right. So anyway, I had to use grass to get the fire going because that's just what I got here. That's the area I got. So I got this tripod, man. It's been really nice for filming this stuff. Unfortunately, I couldn't find enough dead standing to make a tripod for my cook set, so we got this funky bipod, but whatevs. It's working. It's working. Got to work with what you got, man. Grass and bipods. So I'm going to cook myself some lunch. All this bushcrafting's got me kind of hungry, but the good news is I got the camp set up. Nice front porch going there. Plenty of water. And got the kayak dragged up on land. Just kind of farting around now. But I'll probably feel better once I get some food in me. Nailed it! Looks good. Stringy wood. First batch was funky and now I got stringy. Oh, okay, there's the river I paddled in on. Right up here is the bushcraft camp. Got my dilapidated bipod, my water. enough firewood to get me through the evening. And then my hammock set up. It's a war bonnet, hammock, and fly. I think it's called a super fly. And then like I got two setups. I got a 40-degree underquilt and a 0-degree underquilt. And I took the 0. I don't know why, but so my biggest concern tonight is going to be getting too hot. I'm definitely not worried about getting cold. And then I got a 30-degree top quilt, so I should be golden. And I was wrong. It's only going to be down in the 50s tonight, so maybe like a baked potato inside that hammock. Hey man, there's worse problems, right, than being too warm. So anyway, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon now, and man, it's gonna be sweet tonight. Just looking out over that river. But I'll get back to you later. So, interesting development. Had about 3 or 4 boats with like, I don't know, 10 people show up at that other campsite. And I guess they had been looking forward to camping there for weeks, had it planned out, and got babysitters and everything. And they looked like they were gonna cut loose, do some partying tonight. And I decided that I was just gonna move along and go ahead and give up that campsite for those guys. Really nice people. I'm not saying anything bad about them at all. They were great folks, and I just felt like, I don't know, it was a big open beachy area, and it was a better fit for them. And so here I am. I set up a new campsite. Took me, you know, like an hour. I just paddled downriver a few hundred yards, found another spot. This one's like definitely off the beaten path, so I don't have to worry about anybody else showing up here. But so I set up a new campsite. I got a new tripod, actual tripod this time. So yeah. So round 2, here we go. All that extra work, I'm hungry again. I'm almost ready for dinner. It's like 3:30 now. Anyway, yeah, I kind of felt like this weekend I came out here to be antisocial, you know? I mean, kind of get away from it all and just enjoy nature and the woods. And those guys were kind of like doing the opposite of what I was doing, so I wasn't going to stay there. And I didn't want to, you know, mess up their plans and force that huge group to try to find another spot on this river, which wasn't going to happen. It just would have ruined the weekend for them. So I think it was for everybody's best interest, and I'm really happy. This is it's a nice location right on the river here. So I think I got a bunch of wood that was already here, so I'll probably process that up, and we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah. Clam chowder. Well, I'm winding down for the evening. Had myself some clam chowder for dinner. Got plenty of firewood that was left here. Worked out great. Just kind of chilling out, enjoying nature, listening to the coyotes, and it's just been a great day. I really enjoyed kayaking up the river there. Very peaceful, very soul restorative. I had to move my campsite, which was, you know, at first it was kind of a bummer that happened, but I got another site right here, and it's really nice, just as good as the first site. And in a way, I'm almost grateful that that I have those other campers a few hundred yards away from me. I mean, sometimes I really enjoy solo camping, and it's great for the character to be out there totally by yourself. But at the same time, I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, but there's just something comforting about having other people quasi near, so that if something goes wrong, you know, you could reach out for help. So that's nice. So that turned out to be a blessing. You know, at first I was a little sour apples about it, but it turned out to be a blessing. And man, I'm really grateful for this hammock, because like, it's nice to have a chair. You know what I mean? I'm sitting in it right now. I'm smoking a cigar, enjoying the campfire at the end of the day. It's just so relaxing. Man, listen to those yotes. Woo. But like when I tent camp, man, you know, you don't have a chair unless you're in an established campsite with benches or whatever. So this is definitely the way to go for wilds camping. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice night. Anyway, just counting my blessings, and glad to be where I am. My wife Skyped me earlier, so that kind of like, it's just crazy to be out in the middle of nowhere and just talking to your wife on video. But that was fun. We did that for like an hour, and now I'm just enjoying the tranquility and peacefulness in nature, and just setting my soul right. So glad to take you guys along, and I'll probably see you in the morning. Eat some breakfast, pack up, and yak out. Well, good night. Morning. Slept pretty good. I don't know. I had to get up 3 times to pee. I don't know about you guys, but that only happens to me when I'm camping. When I'm home, I don't have to do that. I don't know why it is that when I'm sleeping outside, that happens. But and then of course, when you get back to bed, like you're laying there trying to go back to sleep, and you're hearing all the sounds of nature, and I kind of tune into that a little bit. And it takes me a little while to fall asleep. But anyway, so I'm ready to get some coffee going. There we go. Cooking up some breakfast. All right, so I got a rice side, and then I mixed some pepperoni in there. So I got like a pepperoni rice situation. So I don't know, it tastes pretty good. I guess I got my carbs, my protein, and my fat all in one meal here. Haven't ate a vegetable in days, but that's all right. So with the fire, what I ended up doing was going out into the woods and finding some palmetto fir. I put that on top of the embers. The palmetto fir was kind of damp because it's morning time, and that it lit on fire, and then it went out, and then it lit on fire and went out. I didn't really have any success with the palmetto fir, but with those little fires that it kept making and going out, it basically turned that burnt, charred up wood into a gigantic punkwood char fire. I guess what I'm trying to say is that whole log was a giant ember. So then I just piled sticks up on top of that log, and it lit on fire. So that's how I got my fire going this morning. Definitely not textbook, but hey, got some pepperoni. All right, well, I just spotted this next to my camp here, so that's edible. So now I can say I've had my greens. Yummy. Back out on the water. Launched this morning, so here's where I camped last night. This is what it looks like from the water. You can see that little area right there is where I kind of climbed out and went up there. And then probably about 15 feet behind where I camped, you can see that little post area right there. That's the remnants of a barbed wire fence, but that's I think that's a SWIFMA property behind where I camped. But basically there's like a there's the river, which is open to the open to the public, and then there's kind of like a flood plain area on the land that extends up, I don't know, 15 yards. That's also open to the public, so you can camp really anywhere on this river, as long as you're in that floodplain area. And then there's usually a fence or some kind of boundary that indicates that you're getting onto private property or property that is not open to the public. Yep, it was weird, man, because I paddled upriver probably I don't know, 800 yards from here, and there's a fence that runs all the way across the river. So, and it's double fence, so from either side you can't access this area. I think some landowner just fenced off the river there, and I'm pretty sure that's illegal. It's just nobody gives a crap because you're out in the middle of nowhere. But I don't think you can own the river. I think that's a no-no. But who knows? You know, I'm new to kayaking. What do I know? just out here boating. So anyway, I'll take you on a trip out. I'll give you some highlights. Enjoy. Man, that area I just went through had a very distinct odor of hogs. Now, I don't know if you've ever smelled that, like if you've ever dressed out a hog, you know what I'm talking about. It actually smelled like somebody dressed out a hog right there. So that was definitely, they definitely frequent that area if they weren't there right then. I don't know. Just keep tooling along. Keep hoping that I'm gonna catch some right out in the open. But that hasn't happened yet. Just a few turtles here and there. It's really pretty out here this morning though. Thoroughly enjoying this paddle out. Definitely not in a hurry. This river's like glass. Just easy going downstream. Very nice. So here's a willow tree for you Florida foragers. That's what they make aspirin out of. So if you got a headache or something, you can like grind that up and suck on it. It actually tastes like aspirin, and it'll cure what ails you. Anyway, just nice, easy-going pace here. I'm just making my way downriver. Almost kind of dreading getting back to the truck. You know, I just want to keep doing this for a little while. So nice. Some kind of wild duck. Gotta see me by now. That duck is retarded. I will call him Daffy Duck. All right, here we are back out on the lake again. Just kind of hugging the shoreline. Definitely a totally different animal today than it was yesterday. Much calmer. Of course, I'm paddling into a headwind again going back. I don't know how that works. I mean, how can you get a headwind going out and going back?